How has it been to be interim chief, and is this a role that you think you'd like to pursue full time?
Oh, it's been good. I've been with the agency for a long time, and so it's felt new, but it's felt comfortable at the same time. Yeah, I'm certainly interested. So once the process is formalized, I'll take a very close look at that and talk with my family, and then talk with my MPD family as well, and then make that decision.
Is it a lengthy process?
I hope not. It seems like they're moving a little more swiftly than it did the last time, and there was a lot of dynamics that occurred, back then. But yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah, and as you take on this role, whether it be temporarily or permanent, Madison has a number of challenges. I know the police department has said violent crime has gone down, so that's good. I also know fentanyl and mental health continue to be priorities here at the department. What with the Madison Area Addiction Recovery Initiative, how would you take on areas of mental health and addiction within the city?
Well, those are tremendous priorities, and I think the good news is our overdose deaths have been going down, and that's been seen nationwide, which is fantastic. But mental health and how we respond to mental health calls is constantly evolving. We're constantly fine-tuning our response. And I think we've been growing and learning with our new CARES program in the city too, and understanding how do we complement one another and really try to give the best response to individuals who are working through mental health concerns in the community.
Sort of tailor-make it to the situation.
Absolutely. It is like a surgical fit for some folks. They really need something different than the next person. So,
What do you think is the most important trait in a chief of police?
well, that's a good question. I think I think there's a lot of traits that are important, but first and foremost, I think is integrity and honesty. Approachability is very important, but I think it's super critical to be present at all times and just really make yourself accessible, not only to individuals in the department but to the community. You can't be someone who's seen as tough to reach or inaccessible. But I think people should really understand what you're going to say or do, perhaps even before you say or do it. So consistency and predictability, I think, is very important as well.
When it comes to the community and that type of outreach, we're a very diverse area, and several communities of color may not see themselves in you or the police force. So how do you kind of bridge that gap?
That's a great question. I think that is probably one of the largest challenges that has been one of the largest challenges for the entire time I've been in this career. How we demonstrate our legitimacy to the community is like an everyday challenge. I mean, we have to constantly face that challenge and work hard to try to demonstrate our legitimacy and prove, that we're willing to listen, that we're willing to try to respond to concerns as they're raised. But in recent years, especially, as officers, we have to accept the fact that listening also means listening to things that haven't happened in our community or maybe happened, somewhere else in the nation, that are becoming, increasingly areas of consternation or areas of concern for communities here locally as well.
You are new in this role, but you've been in the department a long time, so you have a lot of tenure here. In your opinion, what does the Madison Police Department need?
What do we need? I think we need some consistency. We need to, but also recognize that we need to push ourselves, and we need to constantly evolve with our community. We need to be able to demonstrate, how we can effectively collaborate and problem solve with our community. But we have to demonstrate how we're going to be listeners. I think listening right now to our community, especially as divided as it seems, across our nation, is incredibly important. And I think we need then to embrace the role of caretaker and really push ourselves away from this whole guardian warrior, debate, if you want, in law enforcement. I think becoming caretakers, becoming active listeners, and embracing those roles is incredibly important right now.
How did you come to that approach? Was there a time in your career where you felt like a caretaker and you thought, this is what I'm meant to do?
I didn't think I was going to be in this career early on in my life. You know, I was a Spanish major early at UW. I thought maybe I'd be in the classroom teaching, and an internship with the MPD is what landed me here. But over the years, I've really, I think, become more empathetic, and I've encountered so many situations where, you know, at the time it felt like we got to the best outcome for individuals or for certain situations, and then later on reflection, you know, we realized, well, maybe we could have done better. And so I think pursuing the best outcomes is always going to be our drive, but recognizing that there are going to be better outcomes that we can pursue in the future is important.
You took the baton from former Chief Barnes at a critical time, immediately following the tragic shooting at Abundant Life Christian School, which is a tremendous responsibility. How has that been for you? And is there any information you can provide for the community, what the latest on the investigation is? Do we know, for example, yet what the motive in that shooting was?
No, that's a good question. I was involved that day as the incident commander, and so you know, it's been a tough incident for all of us internally and in the community to process and kind of work through. You know, it's something that I think we hoped would never happen, but recognized that it could happen anywhere, and so we had to be prepared. You know, but in the aftermath, the investigation is ongoing. You know, our detectives are still diligently working and following up on leads. There isn't any real new update that I can share at this time, but it has made us really reflect on emergency preparedness, emergency management internally within the police department, and are we doing enough to always stay on top of the latest trends, the latest trainings. You know, we had a command level training literally weeks prior to this incident, specifically about an incident similar to this, where we trained with command level with fire department, and you know, it was just incredible timing that was so fresh in all of our minds before this happened. So it really made us recognize this needs to be more of a regular occurrence to ensure that we're always able to respond the best that we can for the community.
I guess the last one for me, what makes you proud of Madison?
I think this community is incredible. I think how we support one another, how we, you know, try to help one another when there are, you know, needs occurring in the community is incredible. But I recognize that this community isn't perfect for everyone. It isn't, you know, while as perfect as it seems for a lot of folks, it is not that way for everyone, and we need to recognize where are there disparities, where are there deficiencies for people, and how do we ensure that opportunities are reaching everyone in the community and not just certain segments.
Interim Chief Patterson, thank you for the time.
Thank you
Continued
for the
success
interest.
and best of luck
I
as the
appreciate
process moves forward.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.